Have you ever wondered if you can unlock the full awesomeness of the Nintendo Switch without ever going online? I mean, it's 2023 and everyone's supposed to have the internet. But let's take a trip down memory lane to the good old days of the previous console generation. My Xbox 360, my Wii U, my PS3, I never needed internet to enjoy them. Back then, connecting your console to an online service was as necessary as wearing a snorkel mask to a bar. It just wasn't needed. You could stroll into your local store, grab a game, pop that physical cartridge in, and bam, you were off to the races. There were no day one patches raining on your parade, no pesky bugs on release date. Developers shipped out a finished product because they had no choice. Yeah, those were the days. So here's a $1 million question. Does that still work today? Can you buy a shiny new Nintendo Switch, never connected online, and still have a blast? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the star of the show, this brand new Nintendo Switch OLED. And in this corner, we have 14 of the most popular Nintendo Switch games. Now hold on to your mushrooms because I've arranged these games in order of the release date. From the oldest, Zelda Breath of the Wild, to the newest, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So let's go ahead and set up my brand new Switch OLED. I'm actually going to go ahead and set the right date here. So the console's set up. Let's go check out what firmware we have, and it's 13.1. And this firmware did come out in October of 2021. So we'll see how that plays into which games are going to work and which games are not going to work. It's actually going to be interesting to see the difference between games released before that October 21st, 2021 date and after that firmware date. So first up is Zelda Breath of the Wild. This, of course, came on the release date for Nintendo Switch, and that was March 3rd, 2017. So this should work, seeing as it's an old game. And look at that, Zelda Breath of the Wild works right out of the box on this Nintendo Switch. Next up, we have Mario Kart Deluxe 8. This is actually the best-selling game on the Switch, and it actually came out in 2017 as well. So I'm assuming this is going to work. And look at that. Mario Kart Deluxe 8 works as well here. Next up, we got Super Mario Odyssey, one of my favorite games of all time. This one also came out in 2017, so I believe it should work. But let's see. And there we go. Super Mario Odyssey works out of the box as well without any internet connection. Next up is a pretty interesting one, and that's Minecraft. Seeing as though it is a bit of an online game, it does have an offline mode, but let's see if this one does work. The physical copy did come out in June of 2018. And I'm not sure about this one. Let's find out. Looks like it actually works. But I'm actually going to try and play the game because I'm wondering if it's going to ask me to create an online account, connect it with Microsoft and so on. It looks like I can still play the game offline. And there we go. Minecraft does work without needing internet at all. Next up is Super Mario Party. And I'm guessing this one's going to work as well. And look at that. Super Mario Party does boot up as well. The next game is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This came out in 2019, and I'm guessing it's going to work based on what we've been saying. And yep, there we go. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate does work. It boots up without needing any internet or any updates. Next up, I have Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, a game that came out right at the start of 2019. And I think this is going to work as well. And there we go. Right out of the box, no issues, no updates, it works. Next up is another Mario game, Super Mario Maker 2. This one came out in June of 2019 and it should work as well, but let's boot it up. And there we go, boots up without asking for any updates at all. Next up, I have Luigi's Mansion 3, another great game and one I highly recommend. This came out towards the end of 2019 and it should work. And there we go, works right out of the gate. No issues with this one either. The 10th game I have is Super Mario 3D All-Stars, a game that came out in September of 2020. And yep, this one boots up as well, no issues at all. The next one I have is Immortal Fenyx Rising. Now this game, I think it should work, but it's not a Nintendo first party game. It's from Ubisoft, so I'm actually not sure how they handled their updates. So let's find out. And Immortal Fenyx Rising, it boots up as well without any internet connection. So that's a good sign. Next up, I have Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, and this is now, we're skipping all the way to 2022. So all the games from now on released after the firmware I have on this Nintendo Switch. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens now. All right, the moment of truth. Is this going to be the first one? And there we go. So the Switch is telling me a system update is required to use this game card. The good thing, it seems, I may still be okay. I don't think I need to connect to the internet. So let's try to update this. I think it's going to update from the game card. So let's find out. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it's preparing update, loading the data. And after that update, it should work. And we never had to connect to the internet. So let's see, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Yep, look at that, it loads up. It updated the Nintendo Switch to a newer firmware on its own from the game card, and the game works. So I actually messed up a little bit here. Before Fire Emblem, I was supposed to look at Metroid Dread, a game that came out the same day as the OLED. So let's check that out. And of course, this is gonna work as well, but let's load it up. And yep, Metroid Dread, no problems at all. And the next game is something I'm not sure about. It's NBA 2K23. I know this game, when you do insert it, it's going to ask you for a big update. And this one actually is saying I need to do a system update. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there's NBA 2K23. Let's try loading it up. And whoa, look at that, it actually booted up. That's pretty impressive. All right, so I'm actually not sure the full game works here. It looks like the only thing we can do without installing that online update is do a quick game, and that's, so yeah, this might be the first game that doesn't really fully work, right? I mean, we can't access any of the offline modes either. All we can do is do a quick game. Now we're at the last game, and that's Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And there was a firmware update as well, so I'm going to assume this is going to ask me to do a firmware update, but it should work being a first-party game. And yeah, as soon as I pop that in, it's asking me to update the console. And Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, that does boot up. It should work. I mean, this game doesn't have any online functionality at all either, so we're not going to have any issues. So I'm going to say 14 out of 15. So that's pretty impressive. Definitely all the Nintendo first-party games worked. I mean, the only one that didn't work was 2K23, and that's because you need to download a fairly large game update on your console. Anytime there's a firmware update and you buy a brand new game, it seems that they're putting the firmware update in the game cartridge, so you'll never, ever need to connect online to this thing.
Strange gloom
I was pretty impressed by those results. Nintendo made this console to be truly portable. You never have to worry about an internet connection and can enjoy local single player or local multiplayer anywhere. Let me know in the comments if the results were what you were expecting. I'm actually thinking of doing the same test with my PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, so stay tuned for that.